overview. So let's get started. And this may be 1 or 2 part series, so it will depend how much we get through. It may be a 2-part series. So again, this is for CXM's Master Inventory and Sales version 1.0 Microsoft Excel 2010 workbook. So let's look at the core of how this workbook is constructed. It's constructed first and foremost by the worksheets that are inside of this workbook. Master Inventory is the first workbook. Master Sales is the second workbook. And you'll see here the monthly, all the way from January to December, monthly input sheets of exactly what went on with a particular item. And that item could be, you could have a sell, or you can make purchases like inventory purchases, or you could have a loss. Somebody stole the item, or you can't find it, or you gave it away for free or something like that. So that would be a loss, and that would just go off the books. Pretty much it would just go off of the inventory books. So if we go back to our core of what this workbook is about, with our worksheet, Master Inventory worksheet, we see here that we have a list of all of the items or columns that make up our Master Inventory worksheet. And what those are their item, which is the same thing as like a UPC or some symbol, ISBN number, something that pretty much identifies this particular item. And again, this gets a little bit more advanced in version 2.0, and you'll see why. Description, who your supplier was, your unit cost, your price of your item, the beginning inventory, sort of like what you came to this workbook with, how many pieces of that item, sales that you've made, purchases, losses, in your current inventory. One real quick programming note, so everybody understands and they're very, very clear on this. If you notice, this is the formula bar in Microsoft Excel. If you notice, the formula bar is, whenever the formula bar matches what's in the actual cell, that means that it's a free editable item, okay? And you can't break it. So you can change this as your heart desires, and you're not going to be able to break this. If you go over all the way through A, B, C, D, E, and F, you'll notice that these are all editable items. So when you're putting in item F, T, instead of BH3, we'll put C, D2. Okay, this is going to be a new item, and we're going to say that this is also a headphone, and we're going to say that JVC was the supplier, and we're going to say that the unit cost was $22.99, and we're going to say that we're going to sell this for $55.99. Okay. And we're going to have a beginning inventory of 5. Okay, so what you see here is that everything from A through F is a free edited cells and ranges. So you can feel free to put in what you want, make changes as you want. When you get over to cells, okay, you notice here that there's gargantuan formulas. And you don't want to mess with those unless you really know what you're doing. And the reason why is because they can alter the information, that the magic of how this workbook and worksheet actually works. So this isn't programming language or anything like that. This is just a basic set of mathematical instructions to give you back a value of interest. And in this case, it's giving us back, in this case, purchases, losses, sales, and current inventory of what we have in our master inventory worksheet. So again, A through F change it as your heart desires. G through J, leave it alone. Unless you really know what you're doing. Okay, so now instead of going to master cells, we'll go to January, and this is where you input in every aspect of your what went on. And the three things that you can input are: did you make a sell, or was this a purchase, or was this a loss for this particular item? If you notice, again, the date we can put in, the item we can put in, but description, supplier, cost, price, discount we can put in, final price is a calculation, we leave that alone. Current inventory is, there's a formula in there, we leave that alone. Sales, we can choose, was this a sell or was it not? This is very important, you have to put in yes or no. You could type in yes or no, or you can choose yes or no. If it is a sell, that's an important part of this, how this workbook works. So you need to specify, yes, MX270, this was a sell, and where did we sell it? This is also important. We sold it online, and because we didn't make a purchase or record a loss, we don't have to put that in there. If you notice, you don't want to erase this. If you made a mistake or you need to erase a line item, you erase the item. And as soon as you go to the next thing, you notice that all the information that needed this cell to be filled in has disappeared. Whether or not this was a cell is still there, and we just can fill that back in with no. And whether or not we'll fill it in with no. And whether or not we bought this online or whatever, it doesn't really matter because there's nothing there to record a value or change value. So we don't have to worry about that. We can, as long as the item's not here, and as long as cell is set to no, if you do those two things, it will back out any recorded information for your master cells worksheet. So again, we notice when we come over the master cells, this has a lot of information in it. So basically, everything, this column right here, this green column, is a mere representation of this column here. So again, anything that we do here, over here, it's automatically going to be updated in this range right here. So we never need to change anything in this green column right here. You can just leave that entirely alone. Everything, we never need to touch anything really in the master cells worksheet because everything is automated. When we put something in here or we put something here, everything is changed automatically in our master cell sheet. So as we include our daily sales information, sales items, and as we include information that from our master inventory, i.e. what are we selling, all that information is going to change and be recorded right here in this sales worksheet. So you never need to change anything here. As we go for the example, we just had the MX270. Okay, remember that? And we put it in there, and you'll notice even per the month we have these overall monthly sales revenues and profits here as well, so you can see that sort of on an ongoing basis in your sales worksheets. So what you notice here though is we put in our item and everything got populated, and I'll show you that again, MX270. And as long as it is something that it recognizes from the master inventory sheet, it'll go ahead and pre-populate that. And if I take it out, it'll erase that pre-population out. So again, MX270, and it puts it in there. Okay, so if we go and we look, our current inventory is 12, and that matches up here. Current inventory 12.